Okay, so you haven't seen a truck video in a while, and it's not because nothing's been happening with it, but it's more like lots of little things were happening, or more like things that I started but didn't quite finish happened, or things that weren't really big enough to be the subject of their own video. So we're just going to kind of throw all these bits and pieces here together and make it into a little bit of a mishmash. I hope you enjoy it. Alright, so you may have seen in my last video talking about cold air coming up through these holes here on the floor, which it's nighttime so you may be able to see, but yeah, an astonishing amount of wind comes up through there. So we're going to attempt to, somebody may see someone actually stuffed a rag down in to partially block off that hole, which isn't really doing much. So I'm just going to try and ad hoc something here. I got these fairly low cost floor mats. They're rubber that can be cut. So what I'm going to try to do here is I roughly cut out a template of what the two pedals in the steering wheel, where they fall, and then we're going to try to lay that template over onto this and cut those out and see what we can do. Probably going to make a pretty big hack job of this, but I do have a spare, so if I mess it up, we can try again. Alright, there is my expert hole cutting. Not so much. I'm sure it will need refining. Alright, and that's surprisingly not totally awful on first attempt. Obviously got a little extra trimming to do around the steering column, but I think this is going to work. I'm also going to have to do some cutouts for gas pedal and also for my dimmer switch over here. Alright, and there's the finished-ish product. Not too bad. Might need to trim a little bit more here for the pedal, but got some pretty good coverage there for our holes. Hole for our dimmer. I don't know. I think that might just work. Alright, and there is our completed, now matching floor covers, floor mats. Yeah, so now it says motor trend instead of Ford, which I didn't like as much, but I could not find any ones with a Ford logo that were the right shape and size. And also, I figured soft enough that I could cut it up here. But yeah, I just took it for a drive here. It's about 30 degrees and got very little, if any, that I could feel wind coming in. So calling this one a success. So yes, you did see some working wipers there for a little bit. Had the electrical one put in, just could not find the right parts for the old vacuum motor for it. But I had a problem is that it started, you probably maybe even saw in that video, it was actually hitting the bottom of the windshield. And unfortunately over that time that kind of loosened things up and it got off track and stopped working. So we had to go in there and have them fix that. So you can see we do have some working wipers now. You can see they only go down a certain ways, which is fine, but that's working. Unfortunately, we had an issue, which was that when I picked the car up, or excuse me, picked the truck up, went to pick it up, I noticed that the ignition was in the on position, just like this. And I don't know about these old rigs, but the battery was completely dead. So they charged me up. I got about as far as the parking lot and it died again. So apparently in doing that, leaving it on, I don't know, something happened and it basically fried the alternator or generator. Not sure which one it was. Well, now it's an alternator. So they went ahead and just put in a new alternator for me. So got plenty of spark now. Didn't charge me for obviously for any of that, for, you know, destroying my generator or alternator, but just shows you how it goes with these old vehicles sometimes is you fix something, you think you got it fixed, you got to go back, have it fixed again. I've had things where I've had to go back a third time and fix things. And it's just the way she is. Another issue I encountered was the speedometer. So the speedometer was working. In fact, all of the instruments were working when I got this truck, but the speedometer was kind of reading high. So if I was going 60, it would say 75. I just figured, maybe it had different tires or something was changed over the years, and it was just off. Well, then it started reading low. So if I'd be going 60, it would read like 35 or 40. And then it kind of went up and down and up and down, and then it just stopped. Well, since then, I have been on a quest. Initially, first thing I did, I figured it was the speedometer cable. So I got a speedometer cable for it. We checked that out. Turns out the speedometer cable was just fine. Had to send that back. And then since then, we determined it's the speedometer gear. So this is the gear that actually fits inside the transmission, hooks up to the drive, and registers how fast the transmission is spinning. And boy howdy, I have had a time finding the right speedometer gear for this truck. Part of the trouble of that being is that I don't know what the transmission on this is. You may remember from the earlier videos, I think just about all of these F1s from this era were 3 on the tree, which at some point this one was converted to 4 on the floor. And I don't know exactly what it was for the longest time. I've been told it was from a more modern late 70s or early 80s Ford vehicle, truck or van. But anyway, I found an old guy in Ohio who supposedly has speedometer gears for everything, and a portion of that he had me get under the truck and read him some numbers off of the transmission box. We're still in the midst of trying to find the right speedometer gear. I'm going to just go ahead and put this in the video, even though we haven't reached the resolution on that. Turned out to be a real pain, lots of variables, where the speedometer gear plugs in, above or below the drive gear, or driver's side, passenger side. We took a look at the old speedometer gear, which apparently was not the original one. So it's still a hunt. We did figure out that it seems at this point, I'm not 100%, most likely that this is either a Borg-Warner T19 or I think what they call an SROD transmission. Just from this era here, we can see from the numbers that it's a 1984 transmission. This is the area where instead of saying 1, 2, 3, 4 gears, they said O for overdrive. So again, sometimes you just have to chase stuff. Next thing is I am going to attempt to paint the blue on these side hood emblems. As I'm recording this, I actually tried to paint the other side a couple of months ago, but I'm just now getting around to show this, and this side here is still undone. It didn't really turn out very well, but just wanted to show you what I was up to. Alright, so you can see there the completed on one side painting, which you saw. I started trying to do this freehand, and I mean, it might have been possible if I'd gotten a smaller brush and kept at it, but I don't know. I felt very nervous about it. I don't know. Overall, I don't think this whole project was a particularly big win. This paint is not the right paint, I don't think. For starters, it's obviously like an exterior touch-up paint, and it's got some I don't know if it's showing up. Yeah, you can see it in the image there. It's got some luster to it, which it really should be a flat paint. I contemplated just actually getting some other paint and going over this again, but I guess I'm too lazy. Boy, the masking was a pain in the butt. People often say about painting that the actual painting part is not that bad. It's doing the masking, but I believe them because, man, that was a pain. And I didn't even do a particularly great job of masking. I don't think I'm a painter by trade. I don't think that is my calling. So there's that one. I mean, you know, close up, yeah, you can see it's kind of a little ragged. I can probably get like an X-Acto knife and like see like that little bit of overage there, just scrape that off or use some mineral spirits or something. Let's see how this one did. This is the one I really spent tons of time masking that to get it as close as possible. Oh yeah, this is not looking that great either. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm being too hard on myself. When I look at the one on the front grill, I can see that it's very uneven and, you know, has little things on it. I can see right there, like there's a little bit right there. It went over. And we got those things. I think I'm going to turn the camera off and pick those off by hand because I don't think I can do it with one hand. Oh, one more fun thing to close out. So you may notice I've been parking the truck over here in this bay lately rather than over here where I got the Mustang, just because you probably saw one of my first videos. I have a heck of a time getting it into this side straight, whereas over here I can do more of a controlled 3-point turn. So it barely fits. The truck is 16.5 feet long. The space from the wall to the garage door is 17 feet. But I didn't account for those shelves, which the hood on that is high enough to obstruct it. So here's what I do. I pull in, get it to about like this, and I know I need to have the nose just touching those cardboard boxes to fit. So I just pull it into a little bit short, get out, and I just hand push it the last few inches. And there she goes. Parking brake. And we are done. When I do that, it just makes it. Just makes it. Well, that is the old truck life.